My name is Michael Visonte. I'm a journalist and an author. I've been working as a professional journalist for over 30 years. Well, I think my father in particular instilled a love of words and the world around me in my upbringing, and that made me curious about what was going on in the world. And I actually was going to study law, but then I got into economics instead, and then found myself interested in journalism when another friend of mine applied for it. Well, it's a very different pace. At first it took a while because I was so used to things happening quickly, lots of important decisions having to be made all the time, and it takes a bit of adjustment getting used to the fact that things are slower, that people take longer to make decisions, and that what you do actually hangs around for longer, as opposed to starting afresh, having a hectic day and then starting new the next day. That takes a bit of adjusting. A number of times there have been issues where I've been asked to cover the other side of a story that I wasn't comfortable with, in particular stories about the tobacco industry and smoking, where we were supposed to get at least two sides of the story, if not more. And my editor said to me, look, I know you might think like this, but we also have to present the other side of the story, and you have to go and ask that person genuinely what they think and why their views are relevant. And I did find that hard. But you learn that the key to journalism is to try and present as much of the story as you can, so that you are giving people as much information as they can need to make up their mind about what's relevant and what's true. Yes, as you start out in journalism, there are subjects that you feel very strongly about, and you want to get involved with them and then perhaps change the world because you feel very impassioned. And sometimes you put your point of view and you think this must be the right point of view, and then someone else comes up and says you're completely wrong or I disagree. And that's very confronting, because when you feel very strongly about it, it's hard to be dispassionate and to accept another point of view. The longer you go along, the more that you learn to temper your views about what you really care about, or to perhaps keep them back because you know that you can't look at them in an honest and, I guess, transparent way. That's a hard journey to go through. Yeah. Two different things. Broadly, they've had a positive impact on journalism, even though it doesn't seem like that to a lot of journalists. The ability to research and to talk about all sorts of subjects that you couldn't before, to get much more information and many more stories in a much quicker period of time, that's a great gain. Against that, we feel that journalists' work is not valued as much, that it's rushed and therefore you can't do the research and get the breadth of perspectives. So there's a trade-off there. In terms of media and communication, it's opened up a whole new world of media, which is separate from journalism. By that I mean media production, spin doctoring, PR advice, all sorts of things that are to do with the media but not necessarily involving journalistic skills and principles. So that's been a great boom, and it's allowed people to become, I guess, journalists without the proper training, but to contribute to the media environment. My advice would be to follow what you're passionate about. It has to be something that gets you up in the morning and gets you excited. Once you've worked what that is, then pursue it, throw yourself into it, even if you don't get paid for it, even if you're not being treated particularly well, because the passion will sustain you. And then also think a bit smart and try and find out what people you might be able to talk to who can help direct you in the best way, so that you can get some results and an opportunity to get your work published and broadcast. So you've got to have the heart and then a bit of the head as well. I would say that journalism is a wonderful life. It's richly rewarding. You meet amazing people. You see and do things that you would have never envisaged or imagined. It takes you out of your comfort zone, and it's always interesting.